guys, welcome back to my channel. And I have a new accessory. Best 2 weeks of my life they have been. And I just want to say a special thank you to every single one of you guys that watched our engagement video and our pre-engagement video, and for all of your comments. We were so completely overwhelmed. That is so kind of you guys to, we feel like you guys are a part of this with us, and we just so appreciate that, and we're so excited to share this journey with you guys. But that's beside the point. A lot of wedding videos are coming up here soon, but before I start all of the wedding hoopla that is going to be like the most fun ever, I wanted to show you guys a really important look for summer. So this is a 5-minute out the door how to get a summer glow like this, a luminous base, a really simple fresh eye. I feel like this is a look that everybody needs to know how to do for the summer. It's very minimal. I'm using a mix of drugstore products and high-end products. So if you want to know what I did to achieve this look, keep watching. Okay, so to begin my out the door summer glow, I've already moisturized my face, which is really important still in the summer, even though you feel more hydrated in the summer. So I've moisturized it, and then I'm using the Benefit Porefessional to prime my face. I really like this, especially in the summer. For some reason, I feel like my pores are bigger in the summer. I don't know if that is correct, but I really am loving that, and I'm pressing it into my pores. So now I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm not one to love the luminous glowy look, but I'm learning to love it. But I'm going to go in with this Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, and this is the shade Moonstone. And I am going to use a pump of this. I'm going to cover my face with this and put it a little bit more concentrated, like on the top of the cheeks there. This is just going to give me even more of like a luminous look. Also, a comparable thing to this would be that L'Oreal Lumi that I got at the drugstore. You could put that all over your face. Okay, so I've covered my face with that Shimmering Skin Perfector, and now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do my foundation. Now, I'm going to use a foundation that I haven't used a lot. I'm going to use the Giorgio Armani, the Maestro. Now, this is the shade 6.5. I actually just got a sample because they didn't have my color. I'm going to go back and get it. But, okay, so I watched Sarah from Dancing with the Stars put this on Sean. I showed you guys in my bridal tutorial, and I just died for it. I'm going to put this one on with my hands because it's a very light foundation. As you can see, it's not full coverage. It's more like a light coverage, I would say, light to medium. So I'm just going to go in and put one light layer of this all over my face. Okay, so that's one layer. It's getting darker outside, so these lights are getting brighter. I'm going to turn the lighting down just a minute. Hang on. Okay, so as you can see, this is a very luminous foundation. Then with that Becca underneath it, I'm already getting that summer glow. So next I'm going to go in, and here you could use a different concealer, a much lighter concealer. With me, I've got these kind of blue veins and stuff, and I just feel like I like my under eyes really bright. So I am going to go in with the MAC, the Pro Longwear Concealer, but I'm using a new shade of this. So y'all know that I used to mix it in W15 and NC25 because I was a straight full and didn't even get the 20. I should have just got the dang 20. I've been mixing it like a chemist all my dang life. So I'm just going to go in now, and I'm just going to brighten up my under eye. I'm using my Sigma brush. Now notice I usually will go down here and start a contour, but because this is kind of a bronze glowy look, I'm not going to do a real heavy contour. I'm going to do a lot of bronzers, but I'm not going to do as much of the light part. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my Sigma 3D Angle Kabuki brush. Man, I die for this foundation. Okay, I think a comparable one too, if you guys are at Sephora, like a middle of the road one, is going to be the new Becca one, which is like the aqua something. I've heard that it is awesome, and I saw Alex use it, and it looks exactly similar to this one. Or lower end, like a drugstore type of dupe would be the Lumi cushion. So I think that one's way too glowy for me, but for this look that's gonna work. So I think sometimes I like do my makeup different ways for you guys to like show you different things. And then I'm like, oh, I like this. I might change up my everyday makeup routine. So that's happening to me right now. It's just FYI, it's happening. Okay, now I'm gonna go in, and if there is a brush that you, or actually anything that you need for summer, you really need this Sigma Soft Angle Contour Brush, because it is so good for bronzers. And bronzer is something that you're definitely gonna be wearing during the summer, and I just highly recommend it. And it's like not that expensive either. These are less expensive brushes than the MAC and Bobbi Brown, so I'll link all these things below, obviously. Now I'm gonna go in with my, oh my gosh, with my butter bronzer. And I'm gonna actually go in with light, and I'm just gonna hit just a general warming up my face. You know, I already know. It's weird, isn't it? Okay, now I'm gonna go in with just the bronzer. And I'm gonna put it where I would typically put my bronzer. You can go a little bit outside the lines with this type of look because it's really like a bronzy, glowy look. So we're not trying to do like drag queen contour. We ain't got nothing against drag queen contour, but we ain't trying to do it today. I mean, put a halo on me because it's glowing. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with, this is the Maestro Fusion. It's the shade 400. This is a cream blush, and while I was at the Armani counter, I actually got a sample of this because I'm really getting into cream blushes for the summer. And anytime you're doing any kind of like luminous, glowy look, a cream blush is always the way to go, in my opinion, because sometimes like the less powder, the better, because it's gonna keep you more luminous. So I'm barely using any of this product. It comes out in a pump. You're not gonna even use a whole pump. Like, I'm barely dipping my finger in this. I'm barely putting it like on the back of my hand like this. You see what a pretty like rosy kind of color. And I'm gonna put it on these two fingers right here like this. And I'm literally barely rubbing my face. See that? Because you don't want a real heavy blush. This is really, the bronzer is the star of the show today, so the blush has got to step aside. But like, what a beautiful, light, fresh glow that is. I'm sure that there's one comparable, like a lower end one. Did I just get blush in my weave? Don't you hate to get blush in your weave? Okay, so see, just barely there on the apples of my cheeks. I mean, if you just are like, oh my gosh, I need more blush, then you can put more blush, but. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use the Physicians Formula, the little shimmer brick that I got. This is Vegas Strip Light Bronzer. It says bronzer, but remember, you ain't gotta use it like it says. So I'm gonna go in, I'm just gonna use those kind of top shades, and I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more highlighter just to the top of my cheek, top of my lip, barely down the bridge of my nose. Yeah. Okay, and I'm not gonna go, now this is like the first time ever in my life I'm not like setting my makeup. What I'm gonna do, I'm putting barely any translucent powder at all on this brush. I'm gonna dust it off even on my hand, and I'm barely gonna touch my face, that's all. I'm gonna go in just a tiny bit, and I'm gonna go in with my Kat Von D Shade Light palette. You can go in with just any darker bronzer than the butter bronzer that you use. I like barely touched that in there, and I'm just barely gonna add a tiny bit of darker contour. Barely. Like, you almost could not even do that step because that was so light. I'm going back in. This is just what's left over on the butter bronzer on that brush. All right. Can you even believe it? We're done with the face. I'm just a simple girl. Yeah, right. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do my eyebrows. Now, remember, I'm loving this NYX micro brow pencil in taupe. I actually just went out and bought another one. I had Anastasia Beverly Hill and NYX, like both at the same store. Guess what I picked? I had to take a breath about that. Okay, so I outlined my brows with the NYX pencil, and then I'm going in with this MAC angled brush and then this MAC powder Omega, and I'm barely, it's almost like I'm just dusting this on the hairs just to kind of fill in the middle. And I'm not doing my brows as dark as I typically do. today. Just for something different. Walking on the wild side. Okay, now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna prime my eyes. Now, I usually go underneath my eyebrow like every single time, and I'll use this MAC palette and I'll like lift my brow, but this is an out the door look that I'm trying to make fast. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna use my MAC Paint Pot Painterly, and I'm gonna go in just with my finger. I usually like will use my ring finger. My ring finger, I always just use my ring finger now. And then I go in and I'm just gonna pat that on kind of all the way up to the brow. So now I'm gonna go in and, as I have promised you, I'm gonna keep using some alternatives to my higher end makeup that I've been using. So I'm gonna go in with the Sonia Kashuk palette, and I'm just gonna go in with this middle shade. And I'm barely gonna dust that over my lid. You can use any sort of like bone colored shadow though. Anything that you got laying around that's like an eggshell color, you could use. Now I'm gonna go with my MAC 224 brush, and I'm gonna hit my crease, just my crease, like barely, with this shade right here. It's kind of like an ashy brown. I don't want this to be really dark. See, that's barely there, because this is just a very light, running out the door, but looking bronzy, glowy, and J-Lo look. Like, see how easy that is? Just throw it on there. Just throw it right on there. Okay, so here's the part where I want you guys to like dig through your makeup kits. I'm sure you have some sort of palette or something that has like a pretty like gold, shimmery, topazy kind of color. I'm gonna use this ColourPop Lala, and it's like a kind of coppery gold. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm actually gonna use my finger, and I'm just gonna put a swipe of that color on my lid. Just really light. Now if you wanna go in and you wanna darken your crease with something, you can go in with like any of these colors from this Sonia Kashuk palette. Like this is from Target too, or like Walgreens. Any of these colors, but I'm gonna keep my eyes just really fresh and bright and out the door, because I'm actually keeping my promise to you that this is gonna be an easy look. And this is a look where you can choose to do a liner or you can choose not to do a liner. What I'm gonna do, like for the sake of time, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna take either a really dark brown or a black, and I'm gonna take a tiny little pencil. I'm actually gonna mix these two. And I'm gonna line my lash line with a powder. Okay, now I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna hit it with mascara. You can throw a lash on, but this is an out the door look. You don't need a lash. Says me, who like clearly needs a lash. So I'm still loving this Too Faced mascara. You can also use the L'Oreal Luminous mascara. It's comparable to this one, but you're gonna cake it on those top lashes, cake it on those bottom lashes. Sometimes I just really love like a caked on mascara kind of look. And then last but not least, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna line my waterline. You could go in and you could line your waterline with like a darker color. This is actually a look where I would do that. It makes my eyes like literally look like little tiny mouse eyes, so I just can't. But I also like the Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Gold, but I'm just gonna go in with white. That's a MAC Fascinating Eye Kohl. Okay, so for the sake of trying to keep this a 5-minute makeup look, like out the door summer glow, I am only going to use a lip gloss. Yes, I'm not even going to use a liner. Don't tell anyone. So, this is the NYX Butter Gloss, which is my lip jam for the summer. And this is the shade Creme Brulee, which, I wish I could eat a creme brulee so bad. But I'm doing the whole 30. And I'm a bride. So I just gotta stick to it. So that's it. That's all. 5 minutes, out the door, beautiful summer glow. And in the summertime, I tend to not wear as much makeup as I do in the wintertime. I like to go for luminous, fresh looks like this. So I hope you guys like this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And comment below, let me know what you want to see next. Thanks so much for watching, and see you back soon.